Here on Let's Fish TV, we pride ourselves on bringing you something new, something different, and every once in a while, something even maybe a little shocking. You might be familiar with the name of the lake we're coming to you from today, but you might not be familiar with the style and the species of fish that we're going to catch. I'm so glad you're with us because Let's Fish TV is on the air right now. That is a fish. Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Oh my gosh. Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
So let's play a little word association. If I were to start giving you names of lakes and reservoirs around the country and you gave me the first fish species that comes to your mind, if I said Lake Texoma, what would you say? Probably stripers, right? Not today. Today we are coming to you from the far northern part of Lake Texoma, a place I've never been. Now, Lake Texoma is made up of two major arms, the Red River Arm, which runs right along the Texas-Oklahoma border, and then the Washita Arm that runs north far up into Oklahoma. I haven't done much exploration on this part of the lake, but that changes today because we're not going striper fishing. That's right, we're going bass fishing, and we just might expose one of Oklahoma's best kept bass fishing secrets. Now to help us do that, I've brought out my brand new Low Stinger 198 fully rigged fishing boat, and this deal is a dream machine. Check this out. It's got all the toys, all the fully carpeted, fully upholstered design, best seats in the business, live well, power poles, Mercury Pro XS 115 outboard, everything you could possibly want in a fishing machine is on this Low Stinger 198. We'll take it out on Texoma today. While we're doing that, we're taking you around your local region for this week's fishing reports from our expert team of Let's Fish Insider reporters from lakes, rivers, and bays near you, both saltwater and freshwater. Right now, we get the boat in the water and out there fishing. Next time you see me, hopefully I'll have one on. Right now, let's get it started back at the studio and your weekend planner.
Hey everyone, this will be the best weekend for fishing this month with both days offering good fishing conditions. These lunar tables are indicating peak activity will start at 8:37 on Saturday and 9:40 on Sunday morning. Nighttime action picks up at 9:15 on Saturday and 10:20 Sunday evening. Expect the sun to rise at 7:12 and set at 7:52, and evenings will feature a moon that is 82% visible. We'll be right back to check all of the current fishing reports from throughout the area. Plus, I'll return with Major League Fishing angler Jeff Sprague to answer this week's Ask the Pro question. Stay with us.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury. Go boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Lose, feel the difference. And by Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Get our free fishing guide at orangebeach.com.
Wow. There's what you can catch if you come to Texoma and you stay at it. There's one hit my jerkbait. Not big, but it's a starter. Hold on, baby. Oh yeah, there we go. There's a start, a spotty. Hey, looky here. I caught a spotted bass. I'm not sure I've ever caught a decent spotted bass on Lake Texoma. Welcome back, everybody. We're bass fishing today on Lake Texoma. And that is a spotted bass. You see those horizontal lines running down its side, and you can actually see him on its back too. He's got a real small mouth. That's a little chunky spotted bass for you. That's probably the biggest spot I've caught in this lake. That's a Kentucky spotted bass, and they don't get very big. That's a real big one for a Kentucky spot. Back he goes. Well, it is springtime in Oklahoma, and I mentioned briefly in the opening of the show that there are two distinct arms to Lake Texoma. One's the Red River Arm. It runs east and west right on the Texas-Oklahoma border. But then north of that, running north and south, is the Ouachita arm of the lake, and it runs a long ways, and we're way up the Ouachita arm. And I'm just fishing some rock banks down through here. There are fish that have moved up to spawn. There are fish that have already spawned. And there's some late spawners that haven't spawned yet. It's a late spawn this year, by the way. The water stayed cold in Oklahoma for a long time, much longer than normal this year. So the fish were late spawning. But in this lake, you're gonna have largemouth bass, smallmouth bass, and spotted bass all mixed in the same lake. It's one of the few lakes that you can go to right in this area where you can catch all three species. There's lakes over in the southeast that have that a lot. You don't find that much in Texas or here in Oklahoma, so this is kind of a little prize. Again, most folks think of Texoma as a striper lake. We're doing bass fishing today, and we're gonna see if we can show off what's in Texoma as far as the bass population goes.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by Fort Worth Fishing. Now they're Dallas-Fort Worth's premier crappie guide service. Not only can they put you on fish, but if you'd like, they'll put you on a shore lunch of fresh fish during your trip. Now this week we're going to talk a little bit about post-spawn bassing. And I know it seems early to talk post-spawn, but if you're in South Texas, that's exactly what a lot of the fish are doing on Falcon and Amistad. You'll want to look to those first break lines from those spawning grounds where you'll find post-spawn fish feeding up after the spawn. Use your moving baits like your chatterbaits, your spinner baits. You'll want to be fishing somewhere in that 6 foot to 12 foot range to catch those post-spawn fish. Now also on Amistad, Cow Creek is a great place to go catfishing. You'll want to bait a hole or two or even three. You'll catch plenty of good channel cats there on Amistad. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you once again by Fort Worth Fishing, DFW's premier crappie guide service. Be sure and follow us on Facebook, Lone Star Lakes.
There's a fish. Oh, look at this, hooked under the chin. Look at this. Look at this. That's a big old bass. Hooked under the chin. Easy, 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 easy. Right straight down. Look at that. He's got 3 hooks in him. Under the chin. Wow, look at this. Wow, ha ha! There's what you can catch if you come to Texoma and you stay at it. Well, there is our next species right there. This is a good largemouth bass. Thought that I hooked like a buffalo or a carp or something like that. But no, it was a largemouth bass. Look at that dude. That's a beautiful specimen of a bass right there. There he goes. So what I'm doing, if you've not fished a lot of jerkbaits before, it's a really go-to bait in the springtime. What you want to do is cast either close to the bank or wherever there's a drop-off. You want to be right on a little drop-off to say 2 or 3 feet out to like 8 or 10. Rod tip goes down, pop, pop, and then let it pause. And then pop, let it pause again. Pop, pop, pause. Very erratic, very irregular. You don't want to do the same thing over and over and over again. You don't want to go jerk, jerk, pause, jerk, jerk, pause. You want to do something very strange and erratic to trigger a bass to bite. A lot of times in the spring, you'll get fish that are just up there happy, either spawning or post-spawn, and they don't want to bite. So you've got to trigger them into biting. So what'll happen, I'll get this jerkbait in real quick and explain to you how that works, but when you jerk it, the bill on that bait is going to wallow down like this, and it's going to make that bait wiggle, and then it just sits in the water column perfectly still. Doesn't float, doesn't sink. The Strike King KVD jerkbait just suspends in the water, and that gives those fish that little moment of suspension. If they're following along behind it, it just gives them that little extra trigger for it to stop, and they can suck it in. There's your third Texoma species. Got spotted bass, got largemouth bass, and now we got a nice smallmouth. Fish. Smallmouth. Look at here. Look at that beautiful smallmouth. Don't jump. Don't jump. I got a net here. I'm gonna net this fish right quick. He jumped in the net. All right. There we go. There is the third species, bass species that we were looking for, is the smallmouth bass. And he got hooked right under the chin. That one hit a little crankbait. There you go. Look at that. There's your third Texoma species. We got spotted bass, we got largemouth bass, and now we got a nice smallmouth. You can see his beautiful bronze side right there, kind of gray on the belly. Just a excellent, excellent fish. So I'm trying to use baits that will run anywhere from 3 to 5 feet under the surface. You saw earlier the jerkbait. We talked about some jerkbait techniques. That smallie came on a little Strike King square bill crankbait. Now that bait is designed to run about maybe 4 or 5 feet deep, something like that, and it's designed to deflect off the rocks. So you can see behind us here, all this rock bank that we've been showing you all day. I'm trying to find the places that have a good ledge to them. You heard me mention a ledge earlier. I don't want a flat one. I don't want it to be 3, 4, 5, 6 feet way out from the shore. I want it to run out here and then drop off to 10, 15 feet real quick. That's the area that holds these fish. So I found one of those areas, and actually that fish was on a little point back here behind us. But what I'm doing is I'm throwing at the shore, at the rocks, and then I'm just holding my rod tip down and digging that little square bill crankbait into those rocks. So what it's doing is it's hitting rocks, 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 shallow, 3, 4, 5 feet deep, and then it clears the rocks out into that 10, 15 foot water, open water, and those fish that are laying on that ledge see it and come up for it.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with Let's Fish Southwest. I'll tell you what, right now we're going to go to the southeast corner of the state. We're going to start out talking about Venice, Louisiana. Wahoo and tuna action is unreal. Tell you what, on the calmer days, they even got people taking out the 24, 25 foot bay boats going and catching big old tuna. Also, Houma area, lots of brim, lots of bass getting caught. I tell you what, if you want to go on the saltwater side of things down there, redfish and speckled trout action is doing great according to old Bill Lake. For Old Cajun Field, Captain Kevin Broussard here at Cajun Paradise Charters in Hackberry, saying happy fishing. May God bless, and we're going to see you right here next week.
Well, we finally got the temperature going the right direction. Warmer days, warmer nights, it's going to really heat up the fishing activity, but now many parts of the state, especially here on the eastern side, have to deal with this, lots of water. I'm standing at the Low Water Dam on the Grand River below Hudson Lake, above Fort Gibson Lake, and typically this area is bustling with lots of activity, boats and shoreline fishermen trying to snag paddlefish, casting for white bass. Really today, I'm pretty much the only one out here. In the river situation where you can get off into the break areas that have a little eddy going on, that's where those fish are stacking up. Your white bass, your paddlefish, your crappie. And to catch those white bass, again, go with that small action-tailed crappie jig. You can catch them at this time doing that, but make sure you have safe water levels. Check out the water conditions before you go to the lake. As far as bass fishing right now, your smaller lakes, the community lakes, the city ponds that have stable lake levels are your best options. Good time of year to be fishing. It's going to get a lot better as we get on into April and you can catch them, but you can't catch them if you don't go.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Motor Guides Tour Pro, cable steer motor with GPS anchor, Waypoint Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist, Strike King, Taiwan On, and by Low Boats. Welcome to Low Country.
That's a big one right there. Look at that. How about that, folks? That's a big old smallmouth. That's a fish. Little one. Little one. Now he woke up. Is that a spot too? Yeah, that's a little spot. All right, well, got fish working a little bit anyway. It's warming up in the afternoon now. And actually got some action, got several bites working here. The fish are kind of in coves right now. If you're coming to Lake Texoma and you want to catch any of these 3 species of bass, you catch them basically all the same way. The terrain is rocks. You're going to be fishing rocks for the most part. There is some wood, but if you find wood, it's like gold because there's not a ton of it, especially here in the Ouachita Arm. As we mentioned at the beginning of the show, I'm way north, and I'm actually in a place that I've never fished before. Again, it's just a notorious striper lake. We actually caught some stripers. In fact, I'll show you a quick shot here of one good striper I caught while I was bass fishing. Caught it on a jerkbait right up next to the shore. So sometimes when you're not even trying to catch stripers, you catch stripers. But anyway, let's pursue on, see what else happens.
Hey folks, Captain Greg Varn for this week's Upper Texas Coastal Report. Hey, as water temps continue to rise into the upper 70s, lots of great things are happening. Hey, over in Matagorda, we're already wet waiting and speck and redfish action is great. Hey, soft plastics worked over and along the edges of oyster reefs in 2 to 3 foot of water is working great. Now over in Freeport, hey, our go-to spot has been the San Luis Pass and Cold Pass. The spring flounder run is in full force and we're seeing lots of flatfish coming back into our bays. Hey, soft plastics worked along the guts and on the edges of the sand flats is the key to success. Now let's talk Galveston. Hey, we're already seeing Spanish mackerel, pompano, and jack crevalle along the north, south jetties, and the beachfront. This is extremely earlier than usual, and mild weather and rising water temps are the key factors. This is going to be an incredible spring for fishing here along the upper Texas coast. And if you want to get in on the action, give me a call, check out our websites.
Got him. That's a big smallmouth. I've got a fish on right now that's a big smallmouth. I have managed to throw this jerkbait out there and hook a really nice smallmouth. Come here, buddy. They don't give up easy, these smallmouths don't. Look at that fight, holy cow. He sees that net in the water. He just won't give up. In Jesus' name. I got him though. That's a big one. That's a big one right there. Look at that. All right, this is what can happen. You come and go bass fishing, and one of the best kept secrets in America for bass, because you come to the striper lake of Texoma, and there is what you can catch. Look at that specimen. How about that, folks? That's a big old smallmouth right there. What a gorgeous fish. Just a gorgeous specimen of a smallmouth. Caught him on a jerkbait. All right, let's put him back. Man, that's a day maker right there. You fish all day, and if you catch one fish like that, it can absolutely make your day. And I just caught them suspended. These fish aren't on the bottom. That fish was out in about 10, 12 feet of water off that same ledge, throwing that jerkbait, and the jerkbait will only go about maybe 5 feet down, but it's that suspended pause that really triggers those fish into biting. So just know this about fishing either the little square bill crankbait or the jerkbait, is that it's really about the technique. Feel it through the rocks, or in this jerkbait's case, come off the top of that shallow water, right where the ledge falls off, give it those little pauses in between, and you might catch the fish certainly of the day and maybe of a lifetime. I haven't caught very many smallmouth that big. What a great smallie to end the day on.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free Waypoint TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Bobby Garland Crappie Baits and the original Baby Shad and new slab Huntar Minnow. Glacier Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Balls Out. Made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders. And by Camus Boats. Tomorrow's tournament boat today.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Kyler wants to know, how did you catch the biggest fish that you've ever caught? For an answer, we asked MLF angler Jeff Sprague.
So we're fishing at Lake Fork, Texas, and I'm going down the bank and I've got a buddy in the boat with me and we're just fishing along and I'm throwing a pretty big swim bait. And this is before the swim bait craze. I was probably in my early 20s and I'm talking about my rod just loads up. I'm thinking there's no way it's a fish. I'm hung and my line's just going out to the side as I look out across there, and this fish is turned on its side, and it blew my mind. It looked like a Chevrolet pickup truck just hauling out across there. And finally she turned when I got enough pressure on her with that swim bait. She came up and jumped. I wrestled that fish what seemed like 12 minutes, was probably about 45 seconds. And it was a 12-2. It's the biggest fish that I've ever personally caught, and it was an absolute gorgeous giant.
Thank you, Jeff. If you want some help from one of the pros, simply just go to letsfishtv.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit a question. Now it's time to find out who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
We are back at the boat ramp at Little Glasses Resort on the Ouachita side of Lake Texoma. A great place to visit, and it's time right now for this week's winner in the Big Catch of the Week contest. He's Earl Ates of Longview, Texas, showing a fistful of big old bass, including a 9.4-pound largemouth bass he caught at Lake of the Pines, Texas. If you'd like to have a chance to have you and your big fish shown on television, go to our new website at letsfishtv.com. Go toward the bottom of the page, find the Big Catch of the Week area, and follow the instructions to send us your photo. Here is some of the gear that we use to catch these largemouth, spotted, and smallmouth bass on the Oklahoma side of Lake Texoma. It begins with the Lew's Custom Speed Stick rod. This is a fantastic rod with the G-clutch handle that puts the blank of the rod right in contact with your finger so you can feel every strike. And we had that paired with the Lew's Tournament MP bait cast reel. This is a beautiful, smooth reel on the super low profile design that fits perfectly in the palm of your hand. You can tell it on your store shelf by the little bit of red trim around on the reel. It's got a fantastic anti-backlash system. Look for it by name, the Lew's Tournament MP bait cast reel. As far as the baits, we use two of them today. The one on your right is the Strike King Square Bill Crankbait. Now, I believe that's the 1.5, which is the little bit smaller version. It'll dive to about 5 feet deep, but most of our fish came on the Strike King KVD Jerkbait. Again, it'll dive to about 5 feet and suspend. This week, I've got a tiny bit of advice for those of you who are married. This year, my wife and I will celebrate 42 years of wedded bliss. And I can tell you that after all of these years, a good marriage, which we have, by the way, is one of the hardest things and some of the hardest work that you'll ever do in your life. However, I can tell you from experience that it is worth it, because a good marriage is one of the best and most rewarding relationships you'll ever have in your entire life. Here's a couple of quick pieces of advice to have a good marriage. First of all, no disagreement is worth ruining your relationship over. And no argument is worth fighting over to the point that you ruin a good relationship. You don't have to win every one. Learning how to talk it out and compromise has been the biggest thing that we've learned in our marriage, but well worth the effort. Well, we did manage to catch the Texoma trifecta today with one good spotted bass, one good largemouth bass, and one giant smallmouth bass, all in the same day. From Lake Texoma, Oklahoma. Let's fish, everybody. I'm Barry Stokes. Be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to see more fishing tips, how-to videos, big fish catches, and full episodes of our Let's Fish TV show, be sure to subscribe right here to our YouTube channel. You can also like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Good fishing out there.